Final buzzer, this is where the conversation starts. All sports talk on WGNS and Big G TV, covering the Preps, MTSU, news from Tennessee, and nationwide. Now, here's All Sports Talk on the Good Neighbor Network.
Good afternoon. Welcome to All Sports Talk, a Thursday edition. Everybody getting ready for Armageddon. Snowstorm, ice storm, I don't know. They're all taking stabs in the dark. Sometimes the coach, the guy joining me today, he'll do that too with his picks. Preston O'Neill joins us, and
Here we go.
And you know, Preston. Well, that difference between 32 degrees and 31 and a half is huge right now, evidently.
Well, the difference between, at 7.5, wasn't Indiana favored by 7.5?
7.5, 8.5, yep.
Well, Miami, some of the folks from Miami are really happy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that picked Miami in those points.
Did you give me the spread on our pick?
Give you the spread?
Yeah, I picked Miami. Did I get the point?
You got a point for winning. I mean, you got you got beat that one.
That's right.
No,
I got Miami, and I needed the point.
Yeah, this wasn't for recreational purposes only with the spread. No.
All right.
The team that won, and certainly we'll get in that. But hey, everybody, do be careful. I'm stocked up. I got stocked up Tuesday. I got enough food to eat forever. So,
well, there you go.
And I don't plan on leaving the house at all.
I don't know that you're going to have an option Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's true. Certainly Saturday and Sunday. But anyway.
Yeah. You can get out.
We shall see, which will make MTSU basketball interesting. I know the women have a game here, and the men go to Jacksonville State, which we know it's going to be icy down there. So who knows? Tonight, MTSU against Delaware in ladies play. If Middle wins that game, that'll be win number 500 here for Rick Insell. It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Very impressive. How long has he been there?
He's this 22nd year or something, maybe. I don't know.
It's been a long time.
He's been here a long time. That's still a lot of wins every year to get to that number.
Yes, it is.
So, but anyway, right now, and the women's side of things, Middle is 5-1 atop the conference, but Sam Houston, La Tech, Missouri State, they're 4-1. Jacksonville State, FIU 3-2, and New Mexico State 3-3. On the men's side, Liberty 7-0, Middle 5-2, and quite frankly, I guess they even out. They won a couple close ones, but boy, they really blew one down in Louisiana Tech, or they'd be a game back. Kennesaw, Missouri State, Jacksonville State, they're all 4-3. Sam Houston, New Mexico State, and La Tech are all 3-4. So there's a look at the hoops. And I'll say one more thing, hoops. This hadn't got like the play that I thought it was. But recently, Preston, I don't know if you saw where there was some players that were going to be indicted for point shaving.
Yeah.
And one of them was at Kennesaw State. And they were games that were played on the 17th of December, so Middle played them that night. He was Simeon Cottle. He was 3 out of 14 from the field, 1 of 7 from the field, 5 of 6 at the line, and had 12 points. So I don't know. Usually when the feds getting involved in that, they pretty well have you.
Yeah, they don't fool around.
Yeah.
When they arrest you, they pretty well know that you're guilty.
They're about 99%. So anyway.
Yeah.
And also, hey, Andrew Jones in the Hall of Fame, as is Carlos Beltran. They were elected yesterday. It's about time Andrew got in there. It's only the best center fielder maybe ever as far as defensive, and he still hit 400 homers and had 1,300 RBIs. So good for him. So there's a little cleanup right there. Again, Lady Raiders tonight against Delaware. All right, well, we have a champion, and wow, what a story. 16-0. You want to hear something funny? I'm sure you've seen this, but when Yale is the only team that went 16-0, right?
Right.
Okay. They played those 16 games in 60 days.
I didn't see that.
What do you think about that? You know,
What?
the old leathernecks, huh?
Yeah.
16 games in 60 days. But anyway,
Yeah.
Indiana, they win 27-21. You know, I think we got what we wanted though. Everybody wanted a close game, a competitive game, and I think going in, a lot of people weren't thinking that way. That Indiana had just clobbered everybody, but and certainly kudos to them, but kudos to Miami.
Right. I mean, they played a heck of a game. Huh? You look at the stats. The first half was definitely all Indiana, but Miami came roaring back in the second half. The time of possession was 36 minutes for Indiana and 23 for Miami. That's a pretty good spread. I think that, the team that won the time of possession, won the turnovers, and rushed for more yards, won the game.
And scored a special teams touchdown.
Yes.
We talk about special teams from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Hey, it's a third of the game, like it or not. It's a third of the game. It's equally as important. I know we get wrapped up in the dynamic playmakers on both sides of the ball, and that's fine and good. But hey, the special teams is a third of the game.
Yeah, and Monty, I'm glad you brought that up because you can't rest on any play. And that guy from Miami just barely put his hand on him. They didn't even have punt block on him. And didn't give great effort on that play. And it cost him a touchdown. And what great effort from that young man from Indiana.
Yeah. I mean, but like you said, they ran the ball, and Miami, that was their strength. But I tell you what, there were some times there Miami couldn't even get a yard.
No, they couldn't.
And that's at the point where you coaches will say, that's a point there when it's 2nd and 1, you impose your damn will.
That's right.
Well, it was Indiana that imposed their defensive line will.
And Monty, as we got deeper into the second half, and Miami, drove 75 yards and something like 12 or 13 plays and scored. What it looked like to me there for a little bit was it started to look like the Ole Miss game, where Ole Miss's defensive line was worn out, and Indiana's giving up 50 pounds per player out there.
Yeah.
But man, did they suck it up, and respond in the fourth quarter.
You see that a lot. You hear that going into games where they outweigh him 40, pounds per man. There's a lot to be said for technique and quickness.
No question.
And how many times have you seen a 265-pound guy just whip a 321 an entire game?
Well, I mean, they got after him, and they did have great quickness, and they played hard and had great confidence. And Miami's defensive line, there was some physicality going on, and there was two really good defensive teams out there playing. I've talked about this before, Monty. The game has come back to a running game where, people are no longer just throwing it on every down. They're trying to establish the run, and defenses have caught up with the offense. The complicated blitz schemes, moving people around to try to confuse the offensive line on pass protection. It's evolved again.
You're right. You have to run the football. You do. I mean, you think about Lane Kiffin, his offenses and all that. Hey, they ran the football.
Yeah.
I know you think they do throw the ball a lot because they're a no huddle. Those type of offenses are no huddle. They're spread you out. They still run the football. You've got to keep people honest. I don't care how much you throw it around. If you're one-dimensional, like you said, these defensive coordinators are like they're mad scientists. They're going to figure it out eventually.
Yes, they are. And to open up the pass game, if you're successful running, then you're forcing them to put 7 and 8 guys down in the box.
Yep.
And, they're trying to force those safeties to come down quicker. That's why, you talk about, down and distance. If it's 3rd and 8, you're really giving the defense a chance to turn it loose. Now, if it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, the offense has got a lot more options. Even though, there were some 3rd and 5s, Indiana ran the ball and picked up the first down.
Yeah.
Those two running backs, they played really well, and they ran physical. I mean, they're lowering their shoulder, keeping their feet moving. They're trying to run over people.
Yeah, and, they really did. I mean, they really did. They dominated up front, and they weren't afraid to run it. I mean, they're 3rd and 5, and they're getting 8, and Miami's 3rd and 1, and they're getting stuffed.
Yeah. The run back Fletcher from Miami, he rushed for 112 yards. Of course, 75 of those were on the one play.
Yeah.
But he ran hard too.
Yeah, he did.
And that kind of brings up this, he punched a guy from Indiana after the game.
Yeah.
Lost his composure.
And but then later on goes up and hugs the quarterback while he's doing an interview.
Comes back out of the locker room, stands there patiently waiting for Mendoza to finish his interview and then congratulate him. So, there's some character there. He lost his composure. There probably were some words exchanged, but he regrouped and came back out and did the right thing.
You're listening to All Sports Talk. The coach, Preston O'Neill, joins us today. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the flagship station for Blue Raiders sports.
Caught 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
Play up and score.
Middle Tennessee football, basketball, and baseball. Yeah, we got them.
You're listening to the flagship station for Blue Raider Athletics. I'm Chip Walters. Hear the games here on News Radio WGNS.
Middle Tennessee win.
Raiders win the championship.
Your source for the Big Blue and the Borough. News Radio WGNS.
If you're a small business owner, think about everything you need to help your business succeed. You need a plan, happy customers, steady cash flow, and an insurance agent that gets you. I'm State Farm Agent Deb Insel, and I run a small business too. I understand the unique needs of local business owners and will make it easy for you to choose the right protection at the right price. Because one thing you don't need is insurance stress. Call me, Agent Deb Insel, for your small business needs today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back in 1985, when Toots first opened, there were very few restaurants in this town. We've seen hundreds of them come and go, and yet we are still so blessed to be in business and be doing business here in Rutherford County.
This is Nick Hayes with Toots Restaurants. After 40 years, we still got them. $6.99 daily lunch specials. Stop by Toots.com and check them out.
Thank you for dining with us since 1985.
Thank you, Rutherford County.
Thank you for dining with us for 40 years.
Every team knows which play can be a winning move. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Womack, here to help life go right by combining your home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850. It's a winning move that saves you time and money. Your ride, your stuff. You live with them together. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Womack. It's smart to protect them together, to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let me help you save by combining your auto and renters.
The Doug Young Educator of the Month, sponsored by City Tile and Floor Covering on Spring Street, is Amy Swikert, an early childhood education assistant at Holloway High School.
I always wanted to have a house full of children and wasn't able to have my own, so being in education allows me to share my love, guidance, and encouragement with the students every day.
Amy says the best part about her job is loving on the babies each day.
The opportunity to nurture and care for the babies each day, giving them love and attention while their moms focus on completing their education. Being able to support both the child and their moms in this way makes my role incredibly rewarding.
Amy Swikert, an early childhood education assistant at Holloway High School, is the Educator of the Month.
Inspiring even one family to believe in themselves would be the greatest accomplishment of all.
The Doug Young Educator of the Month, sponsored by City Tile and Floor Covering. Know an outstanding teacher? Nominate them at wgnsradio.com/educator.
Good afternoon. We got slow traffic here on 65 north up by Rivergate Parkway. That's what we're checking out live, trying to get up into Goodlettsville. Lots of radar out here in the last hour or so. 24 out past 840 as said. Traffic builds out into Rutherford County as it gets a little bit heavier through Brentwood, Franklin, with that normal buildup right now. 65 south pushing down through Williamson County. Stein Dental Care in Nashville. It's been around since 1978. Call Stein Dental Care in Nashville. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, wgnsradio.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome back to All Sports Talk, joined today by the coach, Preston O'Neill. Coach, you were talking about Fletcher and the punt. You know, it's different. It's interesting how different athletes react to when a game's over, because there's so much emotion. That's why they have 10-minute cool-offs for athletes in the locker room, coaches in the locker room, or the press conference setting. You know, you mentioned that, and then, you know, the quarterback, golly, he's escaping. He just runs off the field. Well, he don't have to shake anybody's hands.
No, Carson back.
Yeah, if he don't want to shake anybody's hand, he don't have to. You know,
no.
that's not a prerequisite, and I know a lot of people have been dogging him about that, and, you know, and his story is one with its own. I mean, he hadn't gone to class in a couple years and all that. I mean, you know, he just, not him, but the situation, his situation is just what's wrong with college football right now when you don't even have to go to class. And then you take a guy like Jacoby Thomas, who's just lost it. And Jacoby Thomas started his career at MTSU. For a lot of people don't know that, the safety. He's from Tullahoma. Then he went to Tennessee. Then he transferred there this year. He played 1 year there, but you would have thought he'd been there 5 years.
Right.
You don't know how a player is going to respond. Some are going to be like, all right, that's it. I'm over. Go back to school, get my money, nobody likes to lose. And that was a tough, that was a tough way to lose that game, and a lot of euphoria in winning that game. But everybody reacts to winning and losing differently.
Well, he throws the interception. Has to be Monty. He throws the interception. Now, let's say they complete that and take it in for a touchdown. How do you think that offensive lineman for Indiana would have felt that jumped on that 2nd and 1?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a senior, played a lot of games, and he makes a pre-snap mistake. Now, it didn't kill him, so they got the field goal and forced Miami to go down the field and try to score a touchdown. But, you reverse that. And the emotions change greatly on both parts. Now, all of Carson Beck's story, and it's been well publicized, and then to throw the interception on the game-winning drive, potentially the game-winning drive, and to have that responsibility of knowing I just gave this back. Now, that one play doesn't change the game. The block punt is a big difference. Those catches that that kid from Father Ryan made.
Becker.
I mean, and that's 2 phenomenal catches that he made. And I thought the quote that he made after the game, they said, they was asked about how they connect and did he know he was coming to him, and he made mention, of Mendoza. And he getting up and being in indoor center at 5:30 in the morning, running those routes.
Yeah.
And that's the work, that, doesn't get brought up a lot. The extra work and the time and the commitment to winning.
Yeah, and even their coach got a little warm. Of course, he's a different kind of bird in himself. They asked him, on his halftime interview, which I hate.
Yeah, me too.
I hate it. They ask him, what's the first thing he said? Well, they missed 3 cheap shots on the first series of the game. They need to get that stuff right. We'll get our stuff right, and I've told the story. I think it was Darren McFarland in Nashville, interviewed Ralph Region, and I don't give a he introduced himself at halftime. Of course, Middles had put it on Maryland pretty good the first half, and he goes, I don't give a blinkety blink who you are. Let's get this blinkety blank over with. So, well, he earned his money that day. So, I don't like those halftime.
Yeah, the halftime interviews.
Yeah, they don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I mean it's money. I know it's part of your contract and all that. They don't want to do that.
Well, he's fixed the bank. He's making $11 million. There's some inconveniences that go with that.
That's true.
But I don't. It's like they do that. It's like you're just gonna give him some coach talk. They're not gonna really say anything. But he was entertaining at half. He, like you said, he started off about those cheap shots, and that one on Mendoza was definitely unnecessary.
And and Singay, hey, he's got a little bit of cockiness, and I'm gonna say more towards arrogance about him.
Yes, he does. But
like what was it last year? He goes, "Google me. I win a lot of football games." So I mean, it's just, but golly, what a story! You're the, Indiana, the worst team in college football history to date, going, into this year. And they walk away a national champion.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what an unbelievable story.
It is unbelievable. All right, Preston, you got Indiana. They've pulled the who would have thunk it. Last year they had a good team. They had a really good team last year. They went out and identified the coach. I tell you what, he does a good job. He went out and identified what he wants. They are so well drilled. They don't make a lot of mistakes. And hey, in a game like that, they made a couple mistakes. I was listening to somebody saying Indiana's probably going to have more talent next year. But the question is, can you have a team like that? That was a team in a transfer portal era. You've got a lot of those guys who have played together, a lot that haven't. But, that was a real team. They had something special that just because you win it one year and you got better talent the next year don't mean you're going to walk out there and win it again.
No. Ohio State, Michigan. Go down the history of national championships, whether the AP national championship or playoff number championships, and look at the number of teams that have won 2 in a row, much less 3. And I don't know the number, but winning's hard. It's hard to do, which is even, more impressive, 16-0. Those teams that are winning 10, 11, 12 games annually, that's hard to do when you start factoring injuries and being able to play at a high level on week after week after week. It's difficult.
IU plays Ohio State, Michigan, USC, and Washington next year. Two of which are on the road. So,
which is a little tougher schedule than they had this year.
Yeah.
Regular season.
Yeah. So, so let me ask you this. Certainly the SEC dominance. It hadn't just totally. It's not like the SEC's terrible, but the Big Ten's got reason to kind of flex its muscles and pound on its chest right now.
No question. There's an article I was looking at somewhere earlier, and I don't know where it is, about the SEC's dominance. But when you look at the history, there are runs by each conference that where each conference has, a run on things. The Big Ten is now 3 years in a row. But this is the 3rd year in a row the SEC had someone in the national championship game. Well, look at the previous 14 years. Look at it from the year 2000. The cycle changes. It wasn't that long ago Virginia Tech was in the national championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Look where they are now. Oregon's been in there a couple of times, and they made the playoffs. And then look at the diversity of the national championship teams that have come out of the SEC. LSU, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee had one. Alabama's had a number. There's. It's still a good conference. Is it the best conference in the country right now? It'd be hard to argue that. Big Ten looks like it is. And as far as the most competitive conference, well, I don't think there's any question that the SEC's deeper than any other conference out there. Definitely deeper than the ACC and the Big 12, and arguably with the Big 10. And the cycle will change. You know, will Texas Tech become the first team not only to be a new national champion, but will they be the first team in a long time from the Big 12 to win a national championship game? So, you know, when you look at history, these cycles take place. And we talked about this last week where, you know, the SEC's been dominant for a while and the Big Ten's tired of it. So they go out there and do things to get more competitive. And they have. Well, the SEC's going to be kind of tired of it. They're going to go out and do things to be more competitive. And again, winning it all, probably more so now, is hard. And when the rankings were out, you know, if you went undefeated, you know, if there's 2 undefeated teams, then they, you know, they're voting on it. So it's hard to win the national championship. It's hard to win the conference championship. So I think the cycle will change. There'll be another conference that comes up that will dominate for a little bit. And we'll just watch history take place.
Well, it's been a fun year. Of course, the final coaches for Indiana, Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon, then Georgia, Ohio State, Texas Tech, A&M, Alabama, and Oklahoma. So, Alabama going to lose a lot in the portal. I think, to me, I mean, you're going to have plenty of question marks. How will Indiana respond to what they've done? And is Alabama's dominance totally over right now?
Well,
I don't think anybody's afraid of them. They don't. To me, they carry the mystique, but the mystique is on ESPN every Saturday.
Well, they can't run the ball, you know. And let me.
And we've already discussed what that means these days.
Yeah. So let's look at Miami, Monty. They get beat by Arizona State and SMU. They're out of the top. They're finally worked their way back, and they got to have Duke beat Virginia to have a chance to get in, and then they got to get in front of Notre Dame. So they're the 10th seeded team in the country, and they get to the finals. I mean, they're pretty lucky themselves in just getting in.
Yeah.
With their body of work. You know, things had to be perfect for them to get in. Ohio State last year was like the 8th ranked team going in. And they win the national championship. So, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You got to get in, and then you got an opportunity. Ole Miss gets all the way to the quarterfinals and is, 30 seconds away from getting in the national championship game.
Yeah.
And it gets to the semis. So, it's a great year. It's a great year for college football.
Speaking of portal.
Let's talk about the portal, Monty.
You know I'm going to bring it up, at least. Speaking of Duke in the portal. Quarterback Darian Mensah. In wake of his last-minute transfer portal entry, Duke has filed a lawsuit about that. He led the Blue Devils to the ACC title this year. Expected to be the transfer's most coveted quarterback. Duke's arguing that Mensah broke his contract by trying to enter portal, and that he must stay with the Devils to finish the arbitration. That's fine and dandy, but the guy, I mean, I guess you have to pay him again, and the guy don't want to be there. Do you want a guy that don't want to be there?
No, you don't. But, I mean, there's some precedent that's got to be set. You signed a contract.
Yeah, I'm not.
You know?
I got no problem with that. But
they got so much to fix, and it's still entertaining. I mean, it's still a good product out there. The games are good for the most part. There's a lot of storylines that go. But they got to fix this. They got to fix this portal situation.
There is, and you don't know who's who. I mean, I'm gonna take MTSU. You know, they don't have NIL. They don't have all that, but they don't even really tell you who's on the team anymore. You know what I'm saying?
How do you know?
I mean, you can go and see who they're on their website, who their high school signees are, but their portal ones, they put them out on Facebook. Well, those are the ones that are going to be playing. Those are the ones, I mean, it'll say so-and-so, you know, Sacramento Junior College or whatever it may be. But, you know, there's no bio on these guys. How did he get here? You know? And it's like basketball, baseball, you better have a program to introduce yourself to them because nobody knows. And so, you know, nobody knows who these new guys from Middle are. There's none. I mean, I know some of the high school kids, you know, and you know how everybody says we never sign up local kids. Well, Justin Argus from Oakland he signed at MTSU. So anyway, they're good enough. They'll sign them.
Yeah, some of those guys' money, not just at Middle, but across the group of six. They haven't played much, and they're taking them because of what their high school career looked at.
Yeah.
You know, they get a few snaps, and they're familiar with the kid, the young man, from when they recruited him in high school. You know, he's sitting on the bench and not playing a lot at some other facility, some other school. And so it's okay. You know, this guy really was good in high school, whatever star he was, however that goes. So let's take him.
Yeah.
And hope you're right. And hope he adapts. Hope he becomes part of the team. You know, there's so many variables involved in all of this.
Yeah. You know, they're getting to meet. They're getting to know each other now. They just moved into campus this week. So
right.
You got this winter and you got the spring practice. And, you know, that's how you got to bond as a team. That's tough. All righty. You're listening to All Sports Talk. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Sign-ups are going on right now for First Shot's Winter Basketball League in Rutherford County. Coach Andy Herzer guides kids to sharpen basketball skills and build teamwork through exciting clinics and games. Since 2003, First Shot has empowered youth to grow in mind, spirit, and body. Don't miss out. Join the fun and develop lifelong skills. Visit firstshottn.org today and register for the Winter Basketball League. That's firstshottn.org.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's has a team of experienced auctioneers and realtors who make selling your property simple. Whether you're selling your home, farm, or have an estate to settle, auctions are easy, fast, and profitable. You don't have to worry about the hassle of updates, repairs, or showings, and you'll receive multiple offers on auction day.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27 and a half.
Power outages are unpredictable, but with Roscoe Brown's generator services,
appliances, your peace of mind doesn't have to be. Whether it's storm season or an unexpected blackout, our generators ensure that your home stays powered. Installation, maintenance, or repair, our team's ready 24/7 to respond to your needs. With Roscoe Brown, you're not just getting a generator. You're securing a lifeline for those moments that you needed the most. Ensure your home is always powered. Your family's comfort is our commitment. RoscoeBrown.com.
We're visiting with a resident at Stones River Manor who has her own apartment in independent living. I see you have a whole collection of antique churns. What's the story behind that one?
Bought it at an auction. I told my husband, I said, don't go too high on it, maybe $35. And there was this guy, he kept on bidding. And my husband said, I'm going to get it. I don't care what it costs. And he kept on, he gave $85 for it. That was a lot of money for us back then.
Learn more online at stonesrivermanor.com.
Next on All Sports Talk, it's the Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Mother Nature is playing its tricks on the weekend basketball schedule. We'll get to that in just a moment. But right now, all the focus is on Murphy Center tonight, where history could be made as Middle Tennessee's women will take on Delaware at 6:30 tonight. You can hear the game right here on WGNS beginning at 6 o'clock with the countdown to tip-off. With a victory tonight, and it would mean that Coach Rick Insell would earn his 500th career NCAA Division I win, becoming the 106th coach to reach that mark. He would also become just the 24th coach in Division I women's basketball history to win 500 or more games at a single institution, but he would be the only one of 6 active coaches nationwide with 500 Division I wins at one school, and the only coach in the country with 500 or more Division I wins and 500 or more high school wins. So it could be a night where history is made this evening as Middle Tennessee will take on Delaware for the very first time. We mentioned Mother Nature stepped in. Well, Saturday's scheduled game against Liberty has now been moved up to Friday night at the Murphy Center at 6:30. So for the women, back-to-back games, 6:30 tonight, 6:30 tomorrow night, all at Murphy Center. On the men's side, the Blue Raiders were not scheduled to play a midweek game, but were scheduled to play Saturday at Jacksonville State. That game has now been moved up to Friday at 6 p.m. Last night in Conference USA, Kennesaw State lost on the road at Sam Houston 93-87, and Liberty beat Western Kentucky in Bowling Green by a score of 76-69. Tonight, couple of games on the schedule, FIU at UTEP and Missouri State at New Mexico State. Couple of games from Saturday have been moved up to Friday. We mentioned Middle and Jacksonville State. Well, neither team played a midweek game, so it really made sense to play this game on Friday and allow Middle Tennessee to get home. Louisiana Tech doing the same thing to make every effort to allow Kennesaw State to get home. They're going to play their game at 1 o'clock tomorrow down in Ruston. On Saturday now, the schedule thins out a little bit. It'll be Delaware playing at Liberty at noon. FIU will be at New Mexico State. Western Kentucky at Sam Houston. They may have some problems getting home on that game, and Missouri State will be playing on the road at UTEP. Checking other notes around college basketball at MTSU. In honor of National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, the Blue Raider Marketing and Promotions Department will be holding a meet and greet mini clinic prior to Friday's game at Murphy Center against Liberty. Tip-off again, 6:30. Members of the women's golf, soccer, volleyball, track and field, dance, and cheer teams will be on the main concourse on the track level from 5 until 6:30 to mingle with fans and teach their skills to some kids. So get to the gym early on Friday. The Blue Raider women's tennis and softball teams unable to attend due to their competition schedule. And a note that Conference USA basketball championships are back in Huntsville, Alabama this year at the Von Braun Civic Center at Probst Arena. This will be the third year in a row, and tickets are now available for both the men's and women's tournament. There is a link on GoBlueRaiders.com for that. All right, that's it for today, folks. See you at Murphy Center tonight for women's basketball. Could be history in the making this evening as the Blue Raiders look to give Coach Rick Insell his 500th win. That's it here on the Big G, WGNS.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, wgnsradio.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome back to All Sports Talk. All right, Preston. I've seen the first poll for next year. You want to you want to take a stab? Who's number one?
Indiana.
Ohio State.
Oh, well, I saw a different poll then.
I've seen Indiana number one, and another one. This one, they're 8. This is CBS.
Oh.
Hey, you know, I say this every year, and I'm going to say it again. You know who I'm sick and tired of?
Ohio State. Notre Dame.
Texas A&M.
Oh.
They're so overrated. I'm tired of them.
I'm tired of Miami. The U's back. Like, okay. The U. We got all these guys on the sideline. All I heard about, the U. Half the dang guys on game day picked them or more. Like, I'm sick of you.
There you go. All right, NFL.
How about the Patriots?
You got the Patriots. Go to they beat Houston. They go to Denver, though. You know, Denver loses Bo Nix on the second last play. That's
on a kneel down.
Well, it was a play before, actually. And then Buffalo, they let that one slide, but so
fired their coach.
Yeah,
fired their coach.
Yeah, 8 out of 9 years been to the playoffs. Oh well. And their quarterback was upset, so they fired the coach. Yeah, quarterback shouldn't have had 4 turnovers. All right, we've got Seattle and San Fran. What a game that ought to be. So, and boy, wasn't that Rams Bears game a wild one? Woo,
wasn't it?
All right, Preston, been a fun year. We'll get you back on soon, certainly at least when spring practice rolls around. I got some health issues to address here in the next few months, and hopefully we'll get that taken care of, and I'll be back in the saddle 100%. Of course, I'll always have my man Preston with